Good day everyone. It's New Year's Eve, which means 2024 is just about over. 2025 is dawning on the horizon with the promise of great things. I hope you've all had a very Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, or whatever holidays you celebrate, and I hope you all get to enjoy some nice time off before heading back to work or to school next year. Now, I want to preface this video by saying it's probably going to be quite different from the normal style of my content. I'm probably not going to edit this one at all. I don't even know if I'm going to put music in the background. I just wanted to make this video now to have a heart-to-heart with you, and that's because this last year has been the hardest year of my life. Now, it occurred to me the other day that I don't really ever talk about myself. In my videos, me behind the character of Alice in Wonderland. And just for one day of the year, I wanted to break character and clue you in on everything that's been happening. Partly because I think you might like to know, but also because I think it'll be good for me to talk about it. I've had a really hard year. I thought you might appreciate me opening up and a little bit of honesty. Now, I've had struggles with depression in the past, but that's actually not what has been going on this year. This year has been a year of extreme stress and anxiety, but interestingly enough, my mental health is great. You know, I'm happy with who I am, I'm happy with how I look, I'm happy with everything in my life. I've just been extremely stressed. So, what's been going on? Well, I guess to start with, at the start of this year, my YouTube channel had something like 9,000 subscribers. I'm now at just over 60,000, which is amazing, but it's also been... It's hard to say, because it's definitely my dream coming true, and I've loved it. But there have definitely been some negative sides of it. Being so much in the public eye comes with a lot of pressure, and I hold myself very high, so I hold myself to very high standards, and so I want to perform and excel under that pressure. And so this basically leads me to doing what I do best, which is work. I have a really good work ethic, but sometimes I go a little bit overboard. And when I say sometimes, I mean for the entire of this last year and a half, I've been working 70-hour work weeks. I guess to explain that, I work an office job, 40 hours a week, plus commute, and then I'm doing my YouTube channel on top of that. Now, I don't know how many of my videos you've watched, but if you can imagine how much work they take to make and how they've been increasing in production value this entire year, you'll understand that it's a lot of stress and pressure to be able to come out with a video of that quality every week in essentially working just evenings and all throughout the weekend. My general schedule was, wake up super early, go to work 8 hours, commute back. My commute was about 40 minutes, and then I'd pretty much work from 6:30 or 7 p.m. till almost 10 p.m. and then straight through the weekends as well. I'm sure that doesn't require much explaining, but you can probably understand that that's actually not not very healthy. It's what I needed to do to succeed, and I think it's paid real dividends, and I've seen amazing results because of it. But it comes at the cost of a lot of things in my personal life. A lot of things have fallen to the wayside. My social life's basically gone. I've had no time to go out with friends or do anything exciting. Maintenance of my car has completely gone by the wayside. I've had no ability to do that. I've not played guitar in 2 years. I have not written in 2 years. I don't know if you know about this, but I'm actually something of an author. I've written 3 books, although they never got published. It was just something I enjoyed doing, but a lot of my hobbies have pretty much ceased to exist for the sake of making my YouTube dream a reality, because and it is my dream. It's everything I've ever wanted, and that's why I work so hard for it. And I'm not saying it's not worth it. Absolutely everything I've done has been justified, and I'm super happy with how things are going and what I've done. And I wouldn't change my mind at all if I went back in time or anything like that. But these things add up, and time goes on, and you just get worn more and more down to the bone. And that's what I've been doing, basically. Add on to that, and the fact of running a YouTube channel is actually very stressful in and of itself. You work really hard on something, and it's 50-50 whether it does amazingly or does absolute shit. And so sometimes you have a couple of weeks where you work so hard on a video, and then just no one watches it, and that's pretty crushing. So it's a lot of stress trying to keep up with everything that I'm doing and trying to make these videos in time for you, make them high quality, and then just never knowing whether they're going to go up or go down or anything like that. But that's the nature of the game, and I've come to terms with that, and I've gotten very good at handling that, and I've mental strategies to deal with that disappointment if it comes through. And I've really gotten very, very good at running a YouTube channel. This is definitely what I see myself doing for the next 10 years, and I'm good at it. And I can handle the mental strain. It is mental strain. But all of this, the 70-hour work week, and the sacrifices I've made to make it happen, they're just what it takes to succeed. And like I said, I don't regret anything. I've made all the right choices. I've worked hard. I've worked really hard for this, and it's paying off. I mean, I'm at 60,000 subscribers now. I don't think anyone can argue that my efforts have gone to waste. It's just that after a year and a half of doing 70-hour work weeks, it starts to set into your bones. It has other effects, which I'll get into a little bit later. Some of the other things I've been dealing with this year, further woes with my surgery. And some of you may know that I ended up going and getting a revision surgery. Well, unfortunately, while it was an improvement for sure, I'm still not done, so I'm going to need to get another revision, which, I've come to terms with it now, but it's really not how I wanted things to go. And to be perfectly honest, at the start of the year, before I had my revision surgery, that the realization that it hadn't gone all to plan is, it's a kind of soul-crushing devastation that you can't really understand unless you experience it. To have waited so long pining for this thing, such as bottom surgery, thinking, I'll get this done and I can finally go live my life, and then not having that, it's crushing. And that was a pretty big blow at the start of the year. It reminds me of an article I read once about how a human's mental state adapts. You take one person wins the lottery, and you take another person who becomes a paraplegic, quadriplegic, I don't know. Now, obviously, immediately after the events, one is going to be much higher in mood than the other, but if you reconvene with them a year later, they're actually balanced out in terms of life fulfillment. And, that's what I've found, is that, my bottom surgery woes were absolutely crushing at first, but I've come to terms with them, and, I'm okay. And I've long since come to the realization that, if for whatever reason I'm stuck like this for the rest of my life, I can live with that. Having said that, at some point down the track, I am going to get another revision surgery, and, whatever happens, happens. But that's definitely been something that's been on my mind. That's something that's been weighing on me a lot this year, particularly in the first half of this year. Another struggle I've had this year is I've actually been quite ill. I'm not dying or anything, but it has been a year of sickness, maybe because I've just worked myself down to the bone and the stress is lowering my immune defenses or something like that, but I have been so sick this year. The main culprit as well is, I won't go too into detail about this because it's not that interesting, but I had real difficulty with my stomach and with eating because, I don't know, I have this acid reflux issue that is really bad. It's like gastroesophageal reflux disease or something. It's just repetitive, and sometimes it's worse than others, but there have been weeks at a time where I could eat one piece of bread and then I'd have to stop or else I'd vomit. So made it very hard to... It affected my quality of life a lot. I couldn't enjoy food, I couldn't enjoy drinks, anything like that. So, increasing stress, taking away social opportunities, taking away my ability to enjoy food, basically ramping up the negative aspects and taking away the comforts. Life starts to get really hard. And there are probably like 2 points from this whole year that I think were like standout. The first one was in April. I had gone through all of my video went viral back in January, and my channel did really well for a time, but then it had a slump in April, and I didn't understand why, and that really bothered me, and I had something of a breakdown around it, but then picked myself up, and May was one of the best months for my channel ever. You know, nature of the game, ups and downs, you get used to it. And the second time everything came to a head was a bit more recently. My dumbass decided to do two things at once: my ad campaign and my shirts merchandise, which are going well, by the way. Short update. I've got them all packaged. I managed to get a handful of them out before Christmas, but at the moment all of the post shops are closed. So I'm sending out the vast majority of them first thing in the new year. So if you don't get them by February, flick me an email and I'll see what's happening. But, you know, all of these things are stressful. Nothing is straightforward. The ad campaign had a whole load of issues and things I needed to sort out, and a lot of, you know, things up in the air that I was stressed about. Then the shirts were an unimaginable headache because, well, it's just never easy, is it? The printing company I was working with to print them was being a bit annoying, and it ended up being delayed by 3-4 weeks, which really upset me and stressed me out a lot because I was focused on getting them out in time for Christmas, which obviously I didn't manage. On top of that, you know, I'm working my 40-hour-a-week full-time job plus commute and my 30-hour-a-weeks on YouTube. I just absolutely... I think that was probably the hardest moment of the year for me. I was so stressed. My heart was constantly racing. My thoughts were constantly racing. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. That was rough. But eventually I got through it. And yeah, I just kept on going. I don't know if this video is even going to be watchable, by the way. I just wanted to talk about it. I'm just so tired. You know, I guess coming back onto this whole 70-hour work week and the things it's done to me, it's just not sustainable for someone. And I'll talk about this a bit later, but I've had to make changes because I can't keep doing this. After a year and a half of this, it starts to really set in. You know, I've developed this deep-set fatigue that's not the sort of exhaustion you get after working a long shift or anything like that. It's the sort of fatigue that just... you wake up with less energy from the get-go. And, you know, where I found at the start of this year, on a Saturday or a Sunday, I could work 14 hours straight through the day. Now I struggle to get through 7 or 8 before I'm falling asleep. I'm just absolutely exhausted. And the worst part of it at the moment is that this absolute grind I've put myself through to make all of this YouTube stuff happen, it kind of conditions you. I don't feel good if I'm not working. I can't relax. If I sit down and I watch a movie, I feel... I don't know how to describe it. I just feel unproductive, and it's not a good feeling, and I feel like I'm wasting time. And I can't play games because of that. I just can't relax. And I've been trying to train myself otherwise, and it's something I'm focusing on a lot to go into the new year. But yeah, so I'm standing here. I'm exhausted. I've worked 70-hour weeks for the last year and a half. I've been sick. I've had surgery troubles and not being happy with my body. My YouTube channel has been extremely up and down, and it wears you thin. But throughout all of this, I kept getting back up. You know, my own capacity for suffering has amazed me. This year I learned to survive. I have become the strongest person I know. It doesn't feel like anything can knock me down anymore. I am so solid and strong now. This entire last year, I've been knocked down more times than I can count, but every single time I get back up on my feet and keep fighting, keep working hard to make this shit happen, make my YouTube dream a reality, to keep living my life, and to keep enjoying myself in spite of everything I've put myself through. I've learned how to deal with disappointment, and I've learned how to deal with mental health struggles so well that at this point I could take the most brutal blow to my ego and sleep it off, wake up the next morning, and carry on like nothing happened. Just fucking carry on the next day. Just never give up. And I am fucking proud of that. I am fucking proud of myself and everything I've achieved. I am proud of this year. I am proud of this year. So I guess I'm making this video to say that while this has been without question the hardest year of my entire life, it has also been quite possibly the most important. It has been absolutely vital. It has been a turning point in my life. And I am fucking proud of everything I've done. After everything that's happened, I am standing here tall. I am back up on my feet. And somehow I have still got more fight in me. I am never gonna fucking stop. And so that brings me on to 2025, because I've made some big fucking changes that I think you're gonna want to hear about. I have taken this entire year in stride, and I've thought about it, and I've made plans, and I've realized what I need and given myself accommodation for that. The first major thing I've done is, and this is pretty big news, I quit my job. As of the 20th of December, I am self-employed, a full-time YouTuber. So that's 40 hours extra a week for me to just live my life. So the plan is now, this next year, I'm going to work 40 to 50 hours a week on YouTube and try and use the rest of that time that I've got back to actually live my life and become a human being again, and just recover and get over that massive fatigue I have. I also want to say that, this is a big step. I'm super excited for this next year. I'm a full-time YouTuber. My dream is coming true because of how hard I've worked this year, and I'm so excited about that. But I will also say, quitting my job, I have cut my income in half. So, just want to say, I need memberships now more than ever, especially these next 3-4 months are going to be a little bit tight for me. So if you want to help support me and help me make more content, please consider hitting that join button down below and becoming a member, being a commissioned officer in my queer army. I'm at a point where I can keep afloat off of YouTube alone, but I'm not going to be making any more big business expenses like my camera or anything like that. But I have got such amazing plans for this year, and I'm so excited for everything that I'm going to do. I'm also, now that I'm full-time YouTube, I can actually be a human being again. I'm really looking forward to that. I can start doing my hobbies again a little bit. I'm an extremely social creature. I know it's a rarity among trans girls, but I am actually quite extroverted. So not having a social life really bothered me quite a lot. And I'm very aware that in this next year, I haven't got an office job, so I'm not going to be interacting with people in an office setting anymore. So I've put things in place to make sure that I get enough socializing and I get out of the house enough. I've gotten into airsoft. I'm gonna start playing cricket again. All that sort of stuff, just stuff to get me out of the house. I'm thinking about if at some point, I get enough funding, I might go get, acting classes, maybe dancing classes, just, learn new things. But I'm also just excited to have more time for my hobbies. Maybe I'll play video games again for the first time in like 4 years. I play some guitar, do some writing, all that sort of stuff. I'm really excited for that. 2025 is going to be awesome. So yeah, I know the first 3/4 of this video was a bit doom and gloom, but don't worry, I'm in great spirits. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here to stay. And the main thing I've done, in fact, is I've quit my office job so that I can be a YouTuber full-time. So nothing's going to change in terms of upload schedule. That's all going to be, continue as normal, but scope of videos may increase. I've got some really expansive ideas, and at some point down the track, I'd like to start doing bigger projects, things that require a crew or, just, I'm very ambitious, and I think if you look at my channel and the way my videos have changed from a year ago, my videos are so much higher production quality now. It's kind of insane. And, I have no intention of stopping that. My videos are going to continue to get better and better. But for now, I'm going to take a break. Because I need one. I hope you've enjoyed this unscripted look into my life. I am taking a much needed break for a week over New Year's, and I'll be back with my next video, and things will continue as per usual on January the 13th. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being here. You make all of this possible. 60,000 subscribers, full-time YouTube career. Thank you. Happy New Year.